walk. I missed yesterday due to a bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna double up today. Probably be around 10 minutes. So here we're on the 26th of September, and my kind of theme this week, which I'm not sure I'll do this again, but I'm sticking to it. So here we go. Mainly because I saw a post on Monday about soil health, and then it's climate week, so everyone's talking about soil health and stuff and how it will save the planet and the earth. And once again, for the, I don't know, 10th time, is important. Clearly, I'm not an idiot. If you want some just understanding on that, my my grandpa was, he won the soil conservation award back in the 50s. My dad and my other grandpa were some of the first to no-till in the county we grew up in, central North Dakota. Before it was like people literally looked down on it as, oh, it can't work, it can't happen. And it, so in soils class in college was my favorite class by far. I also got like a 98% on it. So yay me. But I'm not also a soils expert. So just note that I just get it and I care about it. It's important. But to talking about all this, where it all started was whether it's as important to a farmer as everyone out from the outside is saying it is. Because when you get into anything sustainable, talking about food and health and nutrition and all these things, there's just like so much focus on it. It's like the health of the soil is the key to everything, and it might be, in regards to, I suppose, the scientific elements of the process. Sure. Yeah, having, better, more breathable, healthier, more organic matter, more microbes, all of that, super important. Less compaction, better water infiltration, better, air movement in the soil, better, all of that. But sometimes, well, it just isn't as simple as that. So oddly enough, I also got a another newsletter that came in that specifically talks about soil. It's called Topsoil. I can't remember the author. You can look it up, but and I don't get it that often, so I don't know if there was a delay, but it came in and gets into all these nitty gritty facts about it. And here's the thing: the soil composition everywhere is different. Literally, that's just how the world works. That's how soil works. The soils in North America, for instance, are younger than, say, the soils in South America, due to our fun, good old geological processes. And so they just have all these different factors on determining their health or not. So when farmers are trying to do what they do, they have to deal with what they have, and there's limits to what they can really do economically. So when we put so much pressure on them, saying, "Oh, if you don't do this, it's gonna, ruin the world," it's like it's it creates this negative connotation that farmers don't care about it, and they're just trying to rape the soil and take from what it wants. And some people, honestly, unfortunately, do that. I know farmers personally that have basically rented ground for a lot of money. They don't put a lot into it. They take as much out of it to get what they can out of it, and then they don't rent it again. And then the people left from that, they have to build up the soil again, build up the profile. And usually that's a lot of extra fertility, which, there's getting more and more evidence that there's maybe other ways to go about fertility. It's not just the synthetic nature of how we've been doing it. Of course, that's also helped us grow enough food, but there's all these things in ag that probably need to change, um, from a sustainability standpoint, just like even economically. with how we treat it. So to all those points, that's all great, and we need to track these things and understand it better. Well, that's where there's starting to be a lot more merging of ag technology and tracking soil health and the pieces of it, understanding it. And in a lot of sense, we just don't do it enough. Talking to a colleague earlier this week who they run a kind of a soil testing program where they kind of contract all these different soil testing groups, so that an ag retailer doesn't have to have their own soil testing people. It's kind of contracted out, and then it gets sent to where it needs to go. And the reality is just not enough of it's done. And that is something that I get. It can be expensive to do it really well because it's not all broadly even, and there's a lot of methods to go about it. There's even methods where you don't have to directly pull the soil out and go ship it somewhere to tell you how good it is. So there's a lot of variation in it, but that also leads us to scalability. And because the economics of figuring out your soil health can be difficult, others have come in with other practices, call it remote sensing, that I've worked on forever, of trying to take from, say, satellite imagery, how healthy the soil is from space. Well, there's an elemental way to do it. You can get a semi-okay baseline, but really, you're never gonna really understand the full health of the soil unless your hands are deep into it. At least right now. I mean, maybe AI will solve all this stuff and everyone will have healthy soil. But once again, like I said, healthy soil is relative. As I was saying earlier, there's younger and older soils. They're formed differently. Up here, glaciers formed a lot of the soil from tilling up rock and all this sediment stuff, and then laying it down, and then a lot of prairie grasses grew. It built organic matter, built the soil profile. There was large bodies of water where sediment's flowing around, and then it finally settled. I'm in the Red River Valley. That's how a lot of the soil was formed. It's different than where I grew up, where it's more of a glacial type sediment versus here where it's like a lake bottom sediment. So it works totally differently. It's got different properties. There's more clay here. It's more I don't know, like a mixed sandy loam. Not even sandy loam, just it's kind of a loam. Average of a lot of things. But then in like South America, it's older. It's been sitting around there for a long time. So it's redder. It's lighter colored. Here it's like deep black. And health means something different there. So that's the other problem when we're also like just trying to scale these things, is we don't have a great understanding of how they all work, in unison. So when we're also looking at remote sensing coming down, we're not getting a perfect answer there. And while there has been done a lot of soil surveying to understand the soil properties, to understand the health and vitality of the soil, that wasn't standard either. We dealt with a lot of soil maps back in the day from North Dakota, and a lot of them were just kind of based on the elevation lines, which does play a role. But they're drawn by hand and all that, and then a rating is put towards it and a type. A lot of times, they just found like a town nearby where there was enough soil similar, and they called it the town name. My area, Heimdall Emmerich soil. That's what it was called. That's like the best soil in there. Then there's other variations. Here it's different. Like it's different everywhere, because it is different everywhere. Literally, this field right here to my right and this field to my left, you're looking opposite, but they do have little different soil profiles because of the cropping patterns, the way they've been farmed. So when we're trying to understand and saying, oh, soil health is the key, we got to do that to save the planet. It's like, well, when the outside is saying that to the farmer, they're like, yeah, well, you don't really get what I have. And unless you're here, you don't get it. So don't tell me what to do. And this is where this whole thing starts kind of unraveling on it being this. Because what a farmer does, say in Iowa or South America or North Dakota or Western Canada or Europe, it's different. There's just different ways to use it. There's different ways to farm it. There's different ways to assess it. So while I could probably just talk about this for a long time, I'm clearly once again past my kind of moment I thought I was going to be at. But this is kind of my thesis on this is while we put so much attention and want for everyone to be the best and have the best soil and that'll solve the planet, people are doing it. They're doing their best. They know they need to do it. And they're slowly using more technology to farm it differently in different areas from different soil properties. So part of it is like, get off their freaking back. Like, seriously, most are doing the best they can with the economics they have. And it's not the only key factor to making farming sustainable and to making healthy food, okay? It just isn't. There's a lot of other pieces to this puzzle. So think about that. That's kind of my lay of the land this week. And I'll put this all in a nice little thing in my next newsletter. We'll see you later. Thanks for listening.